Hello and welcome to Unit 4, Section 3. In this podcast, we're going to discuss sports massage professional standards. So this is going to cover things like governing bodies, CPD, continual professional development, emergency plans and insurance.
I was going to dive on in. There are a variety of governing bodies available to a sports massage therapist, and you don't actually need to be a member of them, although they can be quite useful.
So neither Charlotte and I are members, are we?
No, we're not.
To put that in there. So it will cost you money to be a member, and they do expect you to obviously have first aid certificate, insurance, and carry out regular CPD, which are all things you should be doing anyway.
So one of these is the Complementary and Natural Healthcare Council, and that's been set up with government support. There's also a Federation of Holistic Therapists and the Sports Massage Association, just to mention a few. It can look good on your website if you are a member of one, and it also helps if you're a new therapist. They all have a code of ethics you need to stick to, and these are generally common sense, things that you should be doing anyway, but they can be really good to publicise to your clients.
So it really is your choice whether you want to be one or not, or a member of one. So do some research, see what you think, decide if it's worth the money they're asking for.
So we also mentioned that most governing bodies require CPD. It's something you should be doing anyway, and that is really important. But what is it?
Okay, so you go and learn your massage skills and then you just massage. Well, things change, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, people find out new information, skills develop. So it's about developing yourself as a practitioner. Some courses are very expensive, so you can do quite big courses. You could do very short courses. There's some free stuff. You can include reading, writing theses, stuff like that. So there's all sorts of stuff.
So over the years, we've done quite a lot of different things between us. It's good practice to keep a log and reflect on it. So how did you think it went? What did you gain from it? How are you going to apply that to your own professional practice?
I've put mine in the resources so you can have a look at it. There's some interesting stuff on there, including dog first aid training, but we won't go there.
And there's some things you're going to enjoy more than others, so it's really important to sort of keep a variety. So sometimes even just reading a medical journal with sort of some up-to-date research can be really interesting, sort of scientific support. That's something that I find really good. But also you can go and do additional courses, so taping as well can be something, again, that costs money, but you might find really useful in your own practice.
So if you're going to pay for a course, it's really important to decide if it's, first of all, something you're going to be interested in, and secondly, if you think it's something that's going to fit into your practice, don't do it because you have to do CPD, do it because you want to.
So the next thing to think about is if you're working in a clinic, there will be an emergency plan in place. But if you're working on your own, you need to carry out your own risk assessment and have emergency plans in place for a variety of things. Some might seem irrelevant, but such as bomb alerts, chemical spills. This is linked to the health and safety we actually covered in Section 1.
Okay, you may have a oh dear, we've got our teeth in today, haven't we? You may have a specific role to play in the event of an emergency, so make sure you're aware of exactly what your role is if you have one. What happens in the event of an emergency? You need to remember some golden rules. So, for example, you need to stay calm, assess the situation, locate assistance if needed, and make the area safe. There's a nice simple way of remembering this, and that is calm.
So within all of this, it's also important to consider risk assessments. Now, these need to be completed if it's your own environment, and one I would suggest you do if you do home visits. Okay,
so there are some steps to follow for this to make it a little bit easier for you. So first of all, you have to identify potential hazards. So this could be a cable running across the floor. Decide who might be harmed and how. So if the cable's in a public area, it's you and the customers or your clients. Evaluate the risk and decide on a precaution. So is somebody likely to trip over it and how much damage are they likely to do? What might be a precaution is to get a little thing that goes over the top of it so you can't trip on it.
Yeah, or can it be secured behind some furniture perhaps?
Yeah, move it basically maybe. You need to record these findings in a chart and then implement them. That's really important that you actually implement anything you put on your risk assessment. And then you need to review and regularly update this.
So an example of this might be on home visits. So you could be potentially attacked providing a harm to you. Now, it's low risk of happening, but a high risk of harm.
Sorry, both went for that one then, didn't we? So how can you reduce the harm? There's quite a few things you can do. For example, only do home visits on people that have been referred to you maybe, or clients that you've already seen in a clinical environment. Have someone with their full details. Like my example from a previous podcast is my husband. So he has the name, address, telephone number of the client, and I phone him when I enter the building and when I leave.
So all of that really sensible, and again, it just is part of that risk assessment.
Cool.
So the final topic on this podcast is insurance.
Oh, whoa.
Now, there are a lot you could have, but you must have professional liability and public liability insurance.
Yes, you do. And they're not actually that expensive, are they?
No.
I mean, mine's building up now because I've got so many add-ons to mine. But at the end of the day, a basic sports massage one is fairly inexpensive. It's less than £100, to be honest. In fact, a lot less than that, isn't it?
That's per year.
That's per year, yeah, not per week or month or day. So other insurances that you might want to check is things like if you're treating in the house, your home insurance, if you're travelling around, your car insurance, if you're self-employed. Other home insurance considerations is building and contents insurance. If you have a clinic, you'll probably need personal insurance there as well, and income protection is another one.
So all of these need to be investigated, but for the sports massage liability, there are several specialist insurers which we've listed in the resources. You're currently covered while you're on our course by our own student insurance.
You are indeed. So that's a brief overview of section 3 of unit 4. Some tasks to complete at the end. And I know it was a dry topic, so we made it quick for you, but it's actually useful information and it's more common sense than anything else, isn't it? So enjoy doing your tasks, and you can move on to the last section of unit 4. Goodbye.
Bye.